Hi, this is a quick explainer to Essential Question 3, version 7 in spring 2011. So by now these are kind of familiar to you. Question number 1 just asks you to calculate the internal rate of return of asset A. This tab right over here shows that all that you're doing is taking the ratio of that terminal payoff over the negative of its cost, so 20. And then what you're doing is you're raising it to the power of 1 on n, and n's just how far in the future that other payoff is. So that payoff's in time period 2, and so we're raising it to the power of 1/2, subtracting 1 so we get back to an interest rate. And so what you're seeing there is an internal rate of return of 26.49%. So that's what you should have for question number 1. Heading back to question number 3, so we'll skip 2 for a little bit, come on back. Question number 3 is probably the easiest one. It says, at a minimum acceptable rate of return of 10% and no service requirement, which asset would you choose? So we're exclusive choice. We don't have to provide 12 years of service or anything crazy like that. But we have to explain why it's the best asset. And what you do is you check out this present worth row right here. And you go present worth, present worth, present worth. Which one has the biggest present worth? And it's D, because it has a present worth of 8.55%, and that's the exclusive choice criteria for present worth. Easy. Now let's go ahead and take a look at question number 2. Question number 2 is about providing 12 years of service. Now, key thing to notice is that we're going to be buying an asset, letting it burn out, buy another one of the same type, letting it burn out, buy another one of the same type, letting it burn out. And so, because these asset lives over here, 2, 4, and 3, are all factors of 12, we know that we'll be having our assets burn out, boom, exactly at the end of year 12. So we can use the annual worth criteria on this. So here is the annual worth calculation for asset A, and so it's just looking for A, giving you no P over the life of the asset, and you find out it has an annual worth of 3.7. Asset B has an annual worth of 2.24. Asset C has an annual worth of 2.1, and asset D has one of 3.4. If I'm not mistaken, 3.7 is the biggest one, and is it 3.7? There we go. So the one with the highest annual worth, the one that provides us with the greatest benefit per year over 12 years, is actually asset A. Easy enough. Question number 3 is the one where the minimum acceptable rate of return is 20%. There's no service requirement. Which would we choose? Now, the key thing to remember here is that all those present worth calculations are just dead in the water. We can't use them, and we have to use that internal rate of return exclusive choice criteria. So that's that long procedure. So the first thing you do is remember that the internal rate of return for asset A is 26.49%. And we're supposed to eliminate all assets with internal rates of return less than minimum acceptable. Well, we don't eliminate any of them. So then what you do is you start with the asset that has the lowest initial investment, and that's asset C, because it only costs you $7 to get into it. And you see if it makes sense in order to upgrade from C to B. So you're going to look at the BC internal rate of return. Well, that's over here, and that's 12.47%. Now that's less than 20, so you don't upgrade from C to B. You stick with C and then say, okay, what should I compare it to next? So you can either go for D or A. They both have the same initial cost. So you go ahead and you check up at A and you say, well, look, if I try to upgrade from C to A, what's the incremental internal rate of return? You go over here and you find out it's negative infinity. Well, that's bad. That's less than 20. So you don't upgrade to A. So you're still having C being your best candidate. Then you check to see that C to D incremental internal rate of return to see if that one makes sense. And you go over here and you find out that that CD incremental internal rate of return is 17.22%. Well, that's still less than 20 also, so you know that your best asset is supposed to be C, and that's the one that maximizes your benefit. So here's the quick explainer for essential question number 3, version 7 in spring 2011.